Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I hope everyone is doing great and enjoying their Sunday afternoon. Today, I have a wonderful guest who is newly revert to Islam. So, mashallah, we're going to share his story. Welcome to Islam, brother. So, his name is Rikki Newall. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So, let's start talking to him. Let's start getting into his life story, his background, how he converted to Islam. I'm really intrigued to listen to his story, inshallah. So, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, brother.
Walaikum salam. Walaikum salam. How are you today?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing well. How are you today?
Very good, thank you. Very good. Very good.
So, as I said, let's go into your life story or a little bit of your background, if
Oh,
you want to share that with us.
sure. So basically, I'm from a small place in Manchester. Oh, I've got notes written down, by the way, because I was just.
That's absolutely fine.
So I'm from a small place in Manchester called Ashton-under-Lyne, and I was born to an Indian mother and English father. Her parents came here in like the 60s, towards the British Empire, towards those times where they had like mass influx of the first immigrants. And then I was raised around mainly my grandparents when I was younger. So from like 3 years old upwards until my teen years, I had like non-Western ideals, while they were still alive. Hadn't, so then in the early years, basically in the noughties, things were very different. Like even just then in the early noughties. So in primary school, I was like the only like Asian kid of like Asian descent. So I'd obviously like it was kind of a weird contrast because I was like one of the most well-known, like popular guys, but at the same time, if they saw like my granddad, like pick me up or something the next day, just for that reason, they'd like say, the typical words. Then there'll be like 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s fights. So yeah, that was like the first half of my upbringing. But then at the same time, I didn't really face like a typical like Indian guy like upbringing as well because of my father's family. So I was exposed to like basically a lot of like things when I was younger. So I witnessed a lot of like alcoholism, drug addiction, uh, mental illnesses and breakdowns from like my half sister and stuff like that from the other side. So then from that age, from 7, 8 years old, I had to grow up and become like adapt to the world very quickly, and realize something is not right. So yeah, that was the first obstacle of my life, basically, as well as obviously being mixed race, the thing with my sister. So yeah, that was the start. So if you have any questions about that, that was the beginning of my journey. So then I'll bring you on to the journey.
Okay, so as you just mentioned, you come from two different backgrounds. So your mom she's a Hindu and your dad is a Christian?
Dad is not religious, no.
Not
The
religious at all.
mother is not, but her family all is. All
Right, right.
so just me now, basically.
Okay. So when growing up, so were you like learning mostly about Hinduism? Is that correct?
From my nanny, from my grandparents. Yeah, yeah, I was, yeah.
From your grandparents. Okay. So let's us take to your journey to Islam. So what really interested you to actually come to Islam?
So my journey to Islam has been like kind of a slow awakening process. So I'll move on to like my high school years now. So basically, I was still when you're around that age, then you become like from the experiences, like you want to try and fit in, try and fit in, which is the crowd. So basically, I went to a school which was like 70% like ethnics, and probably the mainly ethnicities were probably from like Bangladesh, Pakistan. But
Mhm.
because of the conditioning and the brainwashing from TV that you see at grandparents' house, and even truthfully what people say from like my background, I would always hang around with the older kids and play football with the older kids. So yeah, basically they told me to basically stay away. So in my mind, you get told from a young age, kind of like poison. This is a bad thing. Don't go near these people. This and that. But in my mind, I used to think this is not correct. But then I just listened. But it was still in my mind. Like as a young child, if you're told things, you're gonna accept the information from the people you trust.
Mm.
This was mainly. I used to mainly hang around with like the white and black non-Muslim people. But then, obviously, even sometimes a lot of fights would break out in schools, like race war and stuff like that. But obviously, I'd be in the complete middle of that. So, but yeah, especially like that would happen a lot. So basically, as well, then going into college, I started to develop like my own mind and then think a lot of what I've been told in my life, this does not seem true whatsoever because then again, my business class was all like every single person except me and another person was Bengali. And then, but there was no like ever issue of like race or religion. It was just like brothers, go for food together, joke together, uh, do everything together, work together, like literally everything. It was like, I don't have no brothers, just three sisters. So then
Mhm.
this was like my first eye opening to like the closeness, togetherness of like having a brother. So then this started to trigger my mind from college years. Like people that would literally, it doesn't matter like what kind of financial status, race, what you come from, just absolute pure loyalty, 100% loyalty. So this was my first introduction. But still, then, after I was in university, this is where it kind of started basically. So, uh, I was still like living the, typical life of like, what we're raised here to do, like clubs and drinking girls, stuff like that. But inside, in my heart, I was like saying to my friends, I don't really want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. That was when I was in college. So, then in university, again, I found myself drifting towards more like the Arab people again. So I used to think, why do I have like most things in common with these people? Why is it? Why is it? Why am I always drifting towards these crowds who are not the same as me? Like completely the same as me. Obviously, we're all human. I was thinking I must have like the same ideology and thinking as these people. But still, in university, I didn't really like look into it because I was in like a haram relationship, and she was actually Muslim as well, but she didn't practice, so she didn't like show me the true Islam. So I thought I would hold off for a bit until like that ended and I left university, and then for like a year, I went through like a period of like confusion, like very like down times financially, mentally after a relationship and stuff like that. The end of uni was over, like drifted away from a lot of friends and stuff like that. So then I thought, um, why don't I actually look into this thing? What keeps people at the same level all the time, no matter what was going on in their life in university? They would always be at like a content level, whether something serious would happen to their family and stuff like that, financially, anything, they would always stay at the same level. So I thought I would start looking at videos. So I started to watch, do you know the One Message Foundation?
Yes.
Yeah, I started to watch this Sheikh Uthman, and I realized, he lived here for a while. He lived in Manchester, where I'm from.
Oh, okay.
He's in America, but for a few years he lived in Moss Side, Manchester.
Is he the one?
He's the
No,
short
that's
one.
Umar. That's Umar Suleiman. No, I was thinking about the other sheikh.
He's one
Sheikh
message from
Uthman. Yeah, yeah, yes, yes. He's
very
he's
famous,
really keen on dawah at the moment, isn't he? He goes out and give dawah. Yes, I think I know which one you're talking about.
and even his intro, just for the intro on on the video just gave me chills. I started to get shakes, and I was like, there must be something. There must be something to this. And then when he was just like debunking every single other person, like Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, everything, and he was saying like, this is how Jesus prayed, this is how Moses prayed, this and that, and then they started to trigger my mind, and then for the first time ever after watching that videos, I didn't know how to, but then I started to pray. But then more hard things came after that because uh, basically I was caught watching the video, and like my family, because of my background, they don't really they don't know still about my change, my reversion. So
Oh,
basically, so basically, I was having a lot of like there was like a lot of tension, so I had to go to like different Airbnbs for a few days after that. But then I was like getting sent Quran recitations from a close friend from university. And then I was like, this is true friendship. No one ever does this like in hard times. Other people, they just disappear. The people who don't believe, they just disappear. This must be the truth. So I thought, even though this is hardship, no, this is just a test for me to see my strength of faith to stick to it. And
so
then, yeah,
you
for me,
started realizing at uni, when you were at uni, that was your,
mm,
in a way, I would say, wake up call
that was
to
around two
Islam
years. That was around 2 years ago. Yeah,
2 years ago.
I
So
was
you
still,
completed uni now. Have you completed your uni now?
yes, business degree.
Okay, mashallah.
Yeah,
So let us take us back to the time of your shahada.
yes.
How was that experience?
It didn't seem real, like I was just like, it was relief because, like close friends next to me, brothers were like, you gotta do it. You don't know when tomorrow's promise, this and that. They kept saying, you don't know when tomorrow's promise, you should do it. I was like, please just like give me my own time because this is should be not forced. This should be like when I want to be at full acceptance where I know I'm gonna stick to the like word and life properly. So I did this on the 3rd of November, and I had tears in my eyes almost. Like everybody came up to me who I don't even know, strangers. They all give me like hugs, and they had tears in their eyes. They're crying, everything. So yeah, this was
Mashallah.
beautiful.
Sorry, this November.
Yeah, just last month, 4 weeks ago.
Mm, mashallah.
So it's
Mashallah.
like basically like a baby again, like, and one by one, like I like gave things up. So like music, the alcohol, uh, like girls, things like that. Once you give one by one up, you start to get like smaller rewards. If you live the right lifestyle. So like I was having problems like with hair, and then your hair gets thicker, then your muscles and bones get denser, and then small things you ask for. So like difficulty, like whether it's financially, whether it's like with a family member, the help comes like it doesn't matter how long it takes. The help comes like 2, 3 weeks later. So I know this is the truth, 100%. I
Subhanallah.
keep getting signs all the time, especially the past few weeks. So subhanallah.
Subhanallah. So you went into the mosque with your friends, and that's
No,
when
no,
you
no.
Islam.
I went by myself. Every so far, I've been 4 times in the past 4 weeks. I know I should do more, but I've been 4 times so far. Every time by myself. Once with my barber, and all the other 3 was by myself.
Subhanallah. Subhanallah. It's just so like touching every time when I hear the story of someone who comes into Islam. It just gives me goosebumps. I don't know. It's just a weird feeling I can't explain, but good feeling though. MashaAllah. So
Because
now you,
basically,
sorry.
it was just a sign. I've seen everybody around me like not on the right track. You get depressed. You get like addictions and stuff like that. There's no like counseling, anything can overcome it. No money, no woman, no anything can like fulfill like when you put your head and nose down to the ground. You get in your heart, everything just goes like this. Like you get so content. Like
Mm.
not down as in like oh you're like depressed, like down as in so calm. You know, it's like the most tranquility I've ever had in my
Subhanallah. So now let me come to my next question is,
life.
so because you live in UK, so why do you think UK needs Islam?
Yeah.
And why do you think they resisting it? Why do you feel they do that?
Um, I believe why the UK is against Islam because basically
Especially the youngsters, like for youth, for like your age and young generation.
because they basically what my verdict is. I think that they capitalize on our corruption. You know, like basically, I don't know if you've ever noticed in like the poor areas. So basically, where I am, I would say is quite the people don't have that much money here. You know, like
Mm.
so basically, have you ever noticed, say in a Muslim area, they'll put the off license and the fast food thing right next to each other. So the food that's not good for you and the off license with all the fitna, you know, all the alcohol, cigarettes, vapes, whatever. And then in the British areas, they'll put like the pub, the gambling shop, and the takeaway all right next to each other in a circle. This is all to like capitalize on your corruption, basically. This is all done by design. And if they capitalize on your corruption, they obviously want to steer you away from what the right path is because they profit off everything. So basically, even my verdict is now, why did they never used to promote like rap music when I was young.
Mm.
People used to say, oh, this is like criminal things, even though I did actually listen to that all my life before I like practice. I used to listen to this, but then I realized, why are they promoting it now? Because they capitalize on corruption. You know, they make more prisons. What are prisons for? Prisons are for profit, and then they influence the brothers to even listen to like that young talking about codeine instead of following the dean instead of free. Like you get what I'm saying? It should be the dean, not codeine. You know, this is nonsense. Like it's encouraging people to do like balloons, vapes, everything. Like follow behavior of the prophet, not a rapper. But now they're making these rappers as like false like people to follow, and it's just leading
Mm.
guys to corrupting themselves, either going to jail or falling weak to their addictions. This is my opinion.
So basically, they just derailing the youth, the derailing of the human mind
100%.
towards towards the shaitan, because
Have you ever?
shaitan will only,
Have you ever?
shaitan will only take over a person who is more vulnerable in that situation. If you're in that toxication mind, it's so easy for shaitan to take over. If you're in a state of zina,
Mhm.
shaitan can take over.
Been a
So
witness. I've been. I can say firsthand. This is 100% true because I've witnessed this 100% and stuff. Allah, this is true. When you come away from all this, you come away and you feel the benefits, the reaps, the rewards, you know. And to touch on that, have you ever thought they call like certain things spirits, and then you have gin, the drink gin, and they call that a spirit because what this, in my opinion, this actually possesses your spirit, you know. Obviously, when you drink this stuff, have you ever thought about this kind of stuff? This is what I thought in my mind, you know. When you start to drink it, they call it a spirit, and then it's called gin, and then you become intoxicated, and you become what? You become possessed. You don't. You start acting not yourself, saying things that are like in the back of your mind, what you should keep silent. You just become possessed, you know.
mm, that's exactly why it is haram in Islam. It makes you do, um, un-Islamic things. So
Mm.
basically, you lose your mind, you lose your sense of ability to do things right. So
Mm.
hence, this is
You
why
know,
it is haram.
like your cognitive state. Like basically, when you give it all up, my mind goes back to how I was when I was a child. Like not in a bad way, like in a good way. Like I have like a photographic memory when I was young, and like my brain used to work so quick. I would remember like words, numbers so fast, and now it's like coming back to me again. But in like my early 20s, I felt like I was like losing my intelligence, you know, like I was starting to go not myself anymore. I was starting to become forgetful and stuff like that, like an old man. But it was obviously because I was living the wrong lifestyle. But now you give all this up and everything, just your levels go up, like level of thinking, speed, your energy levels, everything.
So your level of iman is building up, subhanallah. So
100%.
so slowly and steadily, you're actually cleansing your mind, your soul, and your body too. Subhanallah.
100%.
Subhanallah.
You mind if I just put the heater on for 1 second? 1 second.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm back now. Yeah, so 100%. This is what I'm actually being rewarded, like one by one. Each thing that you give up, you get rewarded. So I would say for guidance, brothers, like it's like not Islam came, the Prophet came, not to like say to everybody, oh, give things up one by one, because like the Meccans, they wouldn't have gave it up like so quickly, you know. So
Mm,
he introduced things one by one, and slowly but surely your faith, it starts to get stronger and stronger. You know? Because if you would say, "Oh, give all this all up at the same time," a lot of people would like reject you. You know, this was in the
yes.
prophets, even also a lot of people would
No,
reject.
absolutely. That wasn't the teaching of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How he spread Islam was like by his character, by his the way he was convincing people. It wasn't by force or anything. Islam did not spread by force or any war or army. So it was just purely based on the character of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how he was as a person. So people did get convinced by his personality. That's why so many people did convert to Islam, subhanallah. And so, yeah, so now coming to my next question.
Yeah.
Why do you think Islam can benefit men in this society, in Western society?
So kind of touching on a similar thing what I touched on about the UK. So for myself, the benefits of the Deen, like they seem limitless. And right now in the UK, like we're struggling with like alcohol, drugs, fornication, gambling. So if you take away each one of these vices and replace it with basically like salah, wudu, everything, you'll feel one by one like your du'as will be accepted, the relationships with your brothers, your brothers and sisters within Islam, everything will go stronger. You'll become more of like an attractive candidate for a husband instead of chasing something that you don't actually really want. You just want the little short term thrill of like getting a girl, this and that. But you don't actually want to fulfill your duty as a guy and provide for her, like and guide her to the right way and show her Islam instead. You shouldn't corrupt her. You should show her the right way, you know, and set the example. Because if you set the example, then we wouldn't have like as much problem as we're speaking about with like men and women. Because if as a guy you set the example, the women and the children will follow, you know. So it's crucial that we get ourselves on the right path first, and everyone else will follow. This is
Inshallah.
this is
Inshallah. We can pray for that day.
honestly, like you'll become more admired and respected by everybody for like the more you abstain and reject like bad things. At first people will be like, oh, you're boring, this and that. They'll be like, why is he doing this? But then when they see your strength of like, how would I say, you resist these things, strength of like resistance, they'll start to respect you and like, look, oh, this is actually working for him. Maybe I'll
Mm.
start the same. So if you can set the example, you can change just one person's life. You
Maybe in the beginning it might be a little hard for someone to give up on these things,
know?
but I would say stay content. Um,
Ask
it will
Allah,
pay. Yeah,
Allah,
it will pay you definitely
what I
in the
ask is,
longer run.
yeah, sorry. what I ask is to like purify my heart and my mind, control like all desires and stuff like that. So if you ask for that, slowly but surely will help you, and you actually have the intention to try, then 100% it will work.
Subhanallah. May Allah make it easy for you. May Allah,
Mm,
keep you steadfast. I
mm.
mean,
Yeah,
so
even like I said about the memory thing. So I got given a book. It's right my in my bag behind me, and I got given it by the Sheikh to learn Surat al-Fatiha. And voila, I looked at the book 3 times. I've never spoke Arabic in my life. And after 3 times of looking, I actually remember. I can actually say it to you right now.
subhanallah. So now
Alhamdulillah.
are you able to pray yourself?
Yeah, I learned how to do it properly. Yeah.
MashaAllah.
So this is,
MashaAllah.
yeah, I learned how to do that Al-Fatiha. I remember 3 times after looking at it by myself. At the end of the
Subhanallah.
day, if you like, I'll recite if you like. So,
um, so now exactly my same question would be, what can benefit of women if they want to come to Islam?
so
What would you say to them?
So just as yourself, Sister Navira, I think Islam was brought to protect us from the fitna that we're seeing in front of our eyes, and not like sell your soul or sell your body for like the price of Jannah, you know. No money is worth the price of Jannah. But even worse, like selling your body is like against the complete deen of Allah. So and if you have conversations with believing women, basically like these behaviors, you see a contrast difference in like mindset, like absolute no filthy topics ever come up. So once you come to Islam, you like cleanse yourself and purify your heart, and you'll also be like more of an attractive candidate for a wife. You'll be treated with more respect, dignity, honor, morality. You'll be provided for, and you won't be seen as like a worthless piece of meat, you know. Not that anybody should be viewed that way, but this is just like the reality of society.
Mm.
Mm.
Especially these days, you won't be object. So you won't be seen as an object. I would say, especially for the women, how lately in few years, how women have been portrayed, especially after the social platforms that we have.
OF,
It's just crazy.
mm, OF and stuff like this. It used to be not common for like even women of any culture to like behave like this. You were looked down upon even 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But now it's like some sort of reward and token to behave like degrade yourself now. So this is why I believe women need Islam
Yeah,
to basically purify themselves and they'll be treated with more honor, dignity, and respect. 100%.
definitely. Islam is the religion where they give the most respect to the women. So
Yeah,
it's
and
wearing
even
hijab is an honor.
and even like this independent women thing, like even Khadija, she had more money than the Prophet. So you can't even say like, oh, they say this is misogyny, the religion, this and that. But Khadija, she had more money than the Prophet. You
Yeah, she was the first business lady.
know? 100%. But they will
Yeah,
never mention it. And Saudi Arabia right now also has the most female entrepreneurs in the world, but they never mention this stuff. You know, they're not putting their women all on OnlyFans. You know,
yeah,
because
true.
they capitalize on the corruption, so they'll just feed you lies all the time.
Absolutely. We're living in the time of fitna right now. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us all from this.
Could be
Um,
could be end times.
that's it.
It could be end times.
I always say this in all my videos. We are living in end time.
when I
So
when I look around myself, it comes to my mind when I'm seeing some of the things myself. It's like clown behavior.
mm,
All I ask is just for the guidance now. It's beyond like even like joking about it. Just make sure you ask. You should like ask them for guidance for them.
Yes.
because they're completely lost. Like now, it's at a stage where they're completely lost.
Absolutely. Nobody knows where they're going, where they're heading towards. But as long as you hold the rope of Allah, you're all good.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. You say that
So
no matter what, like hard things, good things. You should always just say Subhanallah.
definitely. And always say content by saying Alhamdulillah. Doesn't matter what kind of
Bad thing.
hardship or trial you're maybe going through, because all you have to remember is as Muslim, we are sent to this dunya for a test. Allah never promised us to have a perfect life in this dunya. We're all gonna go through
It's
our
just
trial.
it's just
Yes,
training.
that's it. So the end game would be how you are steadfast, how your iman is,
100%.
and how you are with others. It's all based on your deeds.
100%. It's
So yeah,
preparation. Just how much you serve Allah, basically. This is just the intention why we're on earth, but people like a bit confused now, thinking it's for money or cars or house. But when you stand in front of Allah, you like all this stuff is going to be taken away from you. You know, in the grave, you're going to be standing in front of Allah with no money, no expensive concrete, no expensive piece of cotton clothing, like none of this stuff, no expensive piece of metal car. Just what you did for Allah to serve Allah. You know.
just imagine standing in front of Allah that day, and then when everything will perish, everything will die, then
Mm,
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask, where are those oppressors? Where are all these kings? Where are all these people with the money?
mm,
Today is only me.
mm. And then the people who rejected him and took other people as their gods, they will reject the people and say, "We didn't tell you to worship us." This is what it says in the Quran. You know, I remember this.
Subhanallah. Every time when I listen to these kinds of lectures, end of times or the time of the judgment, it gives shivers down my spine. But it's a good way of
But you,
awakening yourself.
we shouldn't fit because what we shouldn't like fear death though, because this is what's coming to us inevitably, and we're taught not to fear it. You know, this is all
Yeah.
training preparation.
It's the way of meeting our creator. How amazing is that?
Unbelievable.
How amazing.
Mm.
So now I think I'm going to come towards my last question is, give me a theological reason. Why do you think you wanted to revert to Islam and accepting Islam? Was that this easy for you? If you just give me like few of the reasons.
Yeah, so as I said, from my half of my family's environment, when I was younger, I used to ask, like in the Hindu environment, like how can there be more than one God? I asked to my family, and then they didn't ever give me a verdict. They would just say, "This is a God of this. This is a God of that," and in my mind, I was like, "This doesn't kind of seem." This doesn't seem like convincing to me. This doesn't seem real. So I never actually practiced fully because it wasn't in my heart, the actual religion. Obviously the culture of where I'm from is, but the religion is not it's not it's not true, it's just a fallacy, you know, it's false. I don't believe that it's true. Maybe people will go against me, but how can you I think that there can only be monotheism, and I think Sikhs are actually closer to like monotheism than Hindus. They're on the right track.
Mm.
Do you think so?
I don't know much about the both religions,
Mm.
Hinduism or Sikhism. I've
Sikhism
not read much about it,
Sikhism
so
is a blend of like Islam and Hinduism from like the Mughal times.
mhm.
The Mughals like influenced a lot of their religion, and then Hindus influenced a lot of their religion as well.
So if you can answer one question here, like for Hinduism, it's just for my own knowledge. Why they have idol? I know back in the time when the Islam was slowly growing. So in the time of our prophet, before prophet, they used to. There was so many pagans. They all used to worship. They had like different idols. And why do you feel? Do they not feel like
I was
we're
just
all?
told I used to think this myself. I was just told that this represents this represents this. But in my mind, I was like, an animal or a man or a woman, cannot, or a statue or anything.
Mm.
It's just kind of strange to me, you know. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't believe in this idol worship
It
anyway.
just
So
puzzles me. Like this little idol, if it can't help itself, how can that help a person? Right?
one hundred
It just
percent,
makes sense. It
one hundred
just
100%. And even like, do you know the meat thing and the caste system? Do you know the meat thing is actually false as well? So basically, a lot of Hindus they don't eat meat. This was basically the upper classes and higher castes in India. They actually do eat like the chick, you know, like the Maharajas and like the sultans in
Mhm.
India. They would eat the chicken, the mutton, the lamb. But then the slave classes, they would just eat, you know, the vegetables, the potatoes, and then they're still adopting this behavior to this day. But they don't realize this is not their religion. They were just convinced to like eat slave food. It's like in comparison to now with the climate change thing, eat the slave food, you know. This is what they're trying to do, make you eat the slave food. And in India, they still practice this. So this is false. I was like, how can I live my life not eat chicken? You know, I'm gonna be weak.
Mm.
That's true. I'm gonna be weak if I don't eat the chicken all along. You know.
So what you're saying here is got nothing to do with religion by not eating meat or chicken. So it's just their culture. They're being brought up like that. Is that what
Yeah,
you're saying?
this is not to do with religion. Yeah, this is just to do with programming. Yeah, they've just been programmed to believe this and culture.
Ah, this is something new that I've learned today.
100%. Like the kings of India would not just eat vegetables and potato. They would obviously eat the chicken, the lamb, the mutton. Yeah. So
Mm.
everybody is still adopting this behavior, and they don't even know why. And now they're trying to introduce that even here now with all the plant-based climate change, all this garbage.
This is a whole new topic
Mm,
itself.
100%, 100%.
But yeah, oh my God, this is
And
something that I've
and the
learned today.
and the caste system was a big reason because I just found that kind of disgusting. And I'm just gonna be honest, I found it disgusting that who are you to judge what level of a human being somebody is based on a so-called caste or skin color? You know, in Islam, I pray next to like a Libyan man, a Somalian man, a white man, a black man, everybody Pakistani, because it says in Islam the white, the black, and the brown. There's no support superiority, you know.
That's
Allah,
it. We're all equal in the eyes of Allah.
100%, and you can
Every
feel
single one of us.
you feel it when you go there as well. You're just a man, you know. You're not. I'm not my race. I'm just Muslim, and I'm a man. You know, that's it. I'm not anything else. Whereas everywhere else, everybody is obsessed about stupidity, like race, caste, everything. This is nonsense.
Mm. It's all about power and who can have the most power, isn't it? I think that's how our minds been
Mm.
um, tuned in. I think, I guess.
And even one time on the other side of my family, I saw like a baptism one time, and when they took like the head thing for the baby, and the way they like their manners when they treated me there, like the priest and stuff like that, they were not polite or welcoming whatsoever because of what I look like. They were very rude, and I found this like practice thing with the babies kind of it's a bit off key to me, you know. It's kind of
Wow.
like this cannot be the truth either. Like, and then when you go into the masjid, you go to the fountain, the sink, how to clean properly again. You're taught everything and instruction, step by step guide, and not just the instruction. You're told why to do it as well. So there's actually
Mm.
a reason. There's a reason for everything. There's a reason and answer for everything. Whereas everywhere else, they don't give you like a clear, defined answer.
That's it. So, when you're like in a form of wudu don't just clean your or purify you physically. It actually purifies you internally, spiritually.
100%. I can feel that as well. It's like
Yeah.
I never thought like rubbing your ankle 3 times. I never thought I'd fall in love with doing something like this. Like it's crazy. It literally makes you feel so clean. You feel like a baby again. Like being taught, like literally, you just get taught how to do basic things, how to just wash clean properly. That's why everybody. This is like the perfect way of life. To be honest with you, like everybody, anybody like who watches this who is not a believer, I believe, should like look into it for sure.
Definitely. So before I end the conversation here today, so just my last question would be, is there any time limit or is there a time that you would actually reveal to your parents? Because I know you said nobody really knows in the
There would,
family right now.
there would be, if like, inshallah, like I'm trying my hardest right now to like financially put things right again. And once I can change things for my parents, and then I'll tell them if I get the time, if Allah wills, inshallah. This is why I did it. This is why I changed as a person. And then if they accept it, they accept it. And if they don't, then I'll have to leave, but I'll still like take care of them, like financially. And even if they want me to, if they was ill, I would take care of them. But
Subhanallah.
it's about like me doing something for them first, and then I'll tell them why. But right now, I don't think it's still the time. But I know it's like they have signs that have changed. They know deep down inside. But I want to do it when the time's right. Like when like the Shahada thing, I waited 8 months for that because I wanted to do it when I was at full acceptance. I want to tell them when I'm fully ready. If I'm given the time.
Mm.
Because they're very like misunderstood. Like people will say, "How can you believe in God?" But then they'll believe in like marketing schemes like Halloween, Valentine's Day, even the one coming up now is. It will not be popular to say, but it's just a marketing scheme. This is not true. This is not even in Christianity. This is not even in the Bible. This is,
Mm.
you know, it's not popular to say. Even like people will spend more time trying to fit in the West, like trying more time for Christmas than praying Salah, which is this is not what we're taught. We're taught to worship Allah only, not to fall for these false things, false idols.
That's it. So would you say your parents have started seeing the different Ricky? Would you say like
And more patient with me, more mutual respect. Everything is getting better. The relationship is getting a lot better.
mashallah?
More like admired and respected by family, peers around me, friends, everything. It's getting better.
Then I don't see why they would not accept you as, because if they see a different,
BBC,
better, positive person.
BBC News, BBC News, because BBC News did 20 years of programming.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Or when people say, "How is there a God?" they replace it with the BBC News, TV adverts, or these fake marketing schemes. That's what they do. So everybody has a God, but they just don't know what their God is.
It's all the propaganda. But yeah, I
Like
was so avoiding to use this word, but yeah, there you go.
nothing to lose anymore. Nothing to lose anymore. Nothing to lose. Yeah,
But
even you
yeah,
see times of hardship like in Yemen, Somalia, Sudan, Iraq, Afghanistan, and now Palestine. Even those who go through the hardest test, they never say, "How can there be a God?" They carry on living their lives, and they just say, "Alhamdulillah" for everything all the time, and they never miss Salah, everything. Like these people should be admired. It's really
absolutely.
brave, really brave.
Especially what Gaza is going through at the moment. And when I see all these videos, it's just
These
makes you think,
these
we
children. These children are braver than most adults here where we are in the West.
These children are like more men than what men we have at the moment in
Oh
this
no,
dunya.
no doubt, 100%. So
See,
may Allah will reward them for their strength of faith and test of character,
I mean,
Inshallah.
may Allah make it easy for them because they're going through a big, big, big trial at the moment. But may Allah make it easy for them. May Allah send their help to them, inshallah. And it's every time when I talk about this topic, I just get really kind of emotional. So yeah,
Just what we have to do is just keep making people aware, make salah for them, and try and give as much to charity, even though they even try and block that off. They're so evil. They try to block the charity, but still do the best you can.
absolutely. Whatever we can, whatever means we have, we can help them in little. I know we can't help them fully, but whatever we can, just never let go of your du'as, your prayers. Just always keep them in your prayers because Allah do listen to the prayers. And
So
for a Muslim, that's our biggest tool to pray, to make a dua for another person.
ask for them to be protected. Hundred
Absolutely.
percent. I think that was a perfect way to close it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for giving me your time. I know you have a busy life, and I've been really busy for we trying to sort this out for a long time. But alhamdulillah, I feel this was a plan for Allah for us to have this conversation today. And as I say, we make plans, but Allah is the best planner of all. So yeah,
Maybe in the future I'll start making videos. Who knows? And I'll get you on a chat on my channel and make a video. Inshallah.
inshallah, I look forward to that.
Inshallah.
I look forward to that. But yeah, as I said, thank you so much for your time. And it was absolute pleasure to have you on there and learn about your journey. And I'm sure if people are in your similar situation, they can actually learn from this. And this is our little effort just to share this with everyone if they want to come closer to Islam. It's easy. It's very easy. It's not how it's being portrayed in the media. Please do not go by media.
You have to
So
have
yeah, just do
open,
your own research.
you have to have open heart, because Allah says their eyes and ears are open, but their hearts are blind. So if you open your heart first before anything, then I'm sure you'll come to full acceptance.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
So I'll take your leave now. And inshallah, hopefully in future, who knows, we might have another podcast, inshallah, if Allah
Very,
permits.
very beautiful conversation. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum